Hello guys, Toby Hollington here again. Welcome to this bite-sized training that I'm going to do, and this is obviously based around the 21-step checklist, which includes all the fundamental principles that I teach my clients on how to be successful in their business. So today, I'm just going to do a short training on, where is it? So it's on the people side, so not the growth, but on the people mastery side, and we're actually going to focus on number 7, step 17. I've developed an organisational chart based on the roles needed for the business, and I have then developed position descriptions for each of those roles. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here. And I'm just going to give you a kind of bit of a snapshot of what you can do. If you do want some more help, if you're on Facebook, just click below help. And if you want a copy of any of the kind of documents that I kind of go on, just click below and say help, and I'll start a chat with you. And we'll see how we can help you. If you're on email, if you've got this over email, just reply to the email with yes, I'd like some help, and we can start to chat too. But let's kind of break this down a little bit. And first of all, think about why we need an organisational chart or position descriptions in the first place. So what you need to think about here, a good analogy is looking at a supporting team. If you're a supporting team going out on the field, and being English, my sport is football, not soccer, but football, kicked with the feet, obviously. That's a sport I know well. Now, when players go out onto the pitch, they've got specific roles that they need to play. And if they didn't know what those roles were, or if they're all trying to play the same role, the thing would be a mess. Often, I don't know if you've ever watched or managed kids playing football, they'll all run after the ball because they don't understand what their role is. Obviously, as they get older, they start to understand what their role is, and they often get better in certain positions. So a goalkeeper is very different than a striker. A midfielder has a very different role than a defender. And people often will get better at different roles, and they will specialise in those roles. To the point where you get a professional team, players don't chop and change. They have specific roles that they play in that team, and it's very clear what they need to do. This is the same in your business. You can't expect your team to go onto your pitch, whatever that may be for your business, whether you're on a shop floor, in a factory, in a building site, in a professional service business, whatever it may be. You don't want them going onto that field of your business, the field of play, not clearly knowing what their roles are. And that's what you're doing when you're kind of putting an organisational chart together, and you're then putting positions descriptions together. You're getting clear on what those roles are, and you're also getting clear on then what specific tasks that each person needs to take and do. That obviously, and the reason why you do that is it does really help you obviously to get organised in your business. Not only does it get clear on the roles that you need in your business and then what tasks those roles need to do, it obviously makes it also very clear for your team members. So they're very clear on what they need to do and how to do it. Not how to do it, sorry. They're clear on what their role is and what they need to do. The how comes later on. That comes in a procedure. But they're very clear on what their role is. They're also very clear on what good performance looks like. You're then able to hold them accountable to that. So you get your business organised, you understand what roles need to be played, you can then assign people to those roles based on the skill sets they've got and based on the experience they've got. And then also you can then make it very clear for your employees what they need to do and hold them accountable. Often when I'm dealing with clients and they've got problems with employees, it's often because the employee is not clear of what they want from them. And the position description will help solve that. I've had clients where they've said, this employee doesn't do what I want it to do, he's all over the place. And then I say, okay, have you given a position description of what they should be doing? Is it clear on their tasks of what they should be doing? Is it clear on the results they want to achieve? And often it's no. And that means you haven't got those roles organised, and you're not clear on what you expect from that person. So that person is going to be a lot less likely to give you what you need because you're not clear what it is you need. So if they're not clear, you're not clear, the chance of them hitting what you want is reduced massively. If you've got a position description, it's very clear what you want, it's very clear what they should be doing, and if they don't do it, you can hold them accountable to that position description. You can discipline them if needed. You can fire them if needed, based on them not following what's on that position description. So it's a very important and useful document, and it does start with your organisational chart. So as soon as you've got probably 3 employees, I would start to look at doing this. 2 or 3 employees, I'd look at doing this. Even 1 employee, I'd definitely have a position description. But probably the best way to show you is to actually just show you a couple of show you an organisational chart and a position description as an example. So I'll just flick over. I'll just flick over on here, and let's have a look. First and foremost, at an organisational chart. So this is an organisational chart for a client I've worked with. They'd actually grown quite rapidly, this business, without necessarily having some of the structure in place. I came in and helped reverse engineer some of this structure in, which obviously started with getting an organisational chart in place, and then getting position descriptions for those roles, and then getting people following those positions. So you can see here, every box on here basically represents a role, and that's what you need to do. You need to map up your roles in your business, depending on your size of your business, depending how many boxes you've got on here. Now, initially when you do this, you'll have boxes for different roles, and obviously in a new business, often you as a business owner are in 3 or 4 of those boxes. Also, you might have employees that are in 2 or 3 of them. But as you grow, you want to remove yourself from those boxes and employ people to do that work. It's the key way of getting your time back, is understanding what roles you need, setting those roles up, and then when the time is right, moving you out of that box and employing someone to do it. Bang, you get a chunk of your time back, and you move up the organisational chart. So you can see here, this organisational chart here, one thing you'll notice here, it is upside down. So the more senior people at the bottom, and the junior people at the top. That's a kind of a bit of a mindset thing to make people think, okay, the people at the top of your organisational chart are really either your customers or your clients. They're the ones that are there, and everybody underneath supports them. So the idea is your managers really support the people above them. That's their role, rather than the team supporting the manager. So that's why you do it backwards, and that came from 1 Minute Manager, a series of books, which are great management tools, or management books. It gets great information from there. So tip there, read those books if you haven't already. But the organisational chart here, we've got a box for each role. Here we've got the company board, we've got the general manager. We were putting a general manager in place for the business. It was time for them to do that. And then you've got the office manager, you've got the different departments. But here, you'll notice on this one, there's no names. And you always start your organisational chart with no names. It's the roles first, and then find the people to fill those roles. Don't do it the other way. Don't have a person and try and fit them into your roles. It never works. It's very tempting to do sometimes, but it never works. You need to find a person that fits the role, not the role that fits the person. So that's your kind of organisational chart. And I'll just show you quickly as well what position description looks like, or an idea of how to set up your position description. So this here for the role is a business development manager. The key thing when you're setting up your position descriptions for the roles in your business, you need to be kind of a bit of a summary of the role and what that is, who they report to. So obviously that relates back to the organisational chart. Then I have key responsibilities, and I put them in sections of importance. And you'll see on the right hand side, next to each heading, we've got a percentage. So it's an estimate of percentage of time they're going to spend working in that area. So for this role, 60% of it is managing current customer relations. 60% of their time is doing that. Then it kind of details their key things they need to do. So arrange and complete site visits for current customers to help and support them in maximising sales, including educating the team members and reviewing merchandising range and stock levels, so on and so forth. And then for each section, we've got that, building your customer base. So, okay, for these guys, they're BDMs, the business development managers. Only 20% is new business, because that's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on then looking after the current business we've got. So that's the key tasks or key responsibilities for the role. Underneath that, you then need key performance indicators. So this just shows us, okay, if they're doing their job well, this is the results we expect from them. And this should tie into, obviously, the results overall for the business. So here we've got sales versus budget, we've got number of current customer visits per month, number of promos booked, number of team member consults, number of new customer leads, so on and so forth. What we've picked out 5 or 6 usually KPIs Some roles are easier to have KPIs for than others. So KPIs is key performance measurements. Some roles, usually roles that are on the front line or are vital to the success of the business, are easier to have key performance indicators on. But if you can have them, they're a very good way of measuring whether they've done a good job or not. For these guys here, they've also got a commission levels and structure, which is on there. And there's one other thing we add on here as well. We don't always do this, but this can be very useful. And that's a default diary. So here we set up a default weekly diary for the reps. And this is actually on a 4-week cycle. So it's a month cycle. So they know exactly what they should be doing each day of the week and in each week. So you can see here on Monday, 8 AM to 9 AM, weekly sales meeting. And then plan for the day, then 9:30 to 4 PM, which is pretty much every day, they need to be out seeing customers. That's their time out. I think they've got Fridays as an office day. So what that does, that takes everything that's kind of on here and turns it into a plan for them of when they need to execute that. So this makes it very, very clear for the team members of what they need to do. And the team love this because it's very easy for them to say, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And then also the manager loved it because they could hold them accountable to this. So we had one employee, for example, who we found out through the car tracking system and through looking at their reports that they weren't hitting the road till 11, 12 o'clock on most days. That's against the policy. So we're able to deal with that. But it's about getting clear. About getting clear and organised. And that's what really this is about. So that's what having an organisational chart and your position description in place is about. It's about you getting organised and getting very clear what you need from your employees, then making sure you then have an employee that matches what you need and that you then hold them accountable. And they're very clear on what you need too. So that's why you need it, and that's why it's really important. If you want some help with that, like I said, just type help below or reply to this email with help, and we'll have a chat, and I can send you for some of these documents if they will be helpful. All right, excellent. Thanks, guys. I look forward to talking to you soon. Cheers.